What up, what up, what up? It's your homeboy B Watt, and you are now tuned in to another episode of Cancel B Watt. And in this episode, I'm going to be discussing the National Guard's planned invasion on New Orleans, Louisiana. As we have all been hearing for a while now, the Department of Homeland Security is planning to deploy 1,000 National Guard troops to New Orleans, Louisiana by the end of November. And guess what, folks? It is now approaching the end of November. Now, this will be in place by Thanksgiving, and it will be in place by Thanksgiving for a very specific reason. And I'll get into that in just a minute. To the city of New Orleans, how did we get here? Since it's almost the end of the year, I'm going to do a quick recap of the past year's events in the city and really try to get people to understand that it's really about to go down now, okay? Started the year off with a terrorist attack. The city got into a groove with the jailbreak. Then a few of our city leadership, including the mayor of New Orleans, got indicted. Free TD, free Vampy, she innocent. And now large sums of money are missing from the city budget, and now the city can't pay payroll. Okay, bet. The governor of Louisiana, Jeff Landry, formally requested 1,000 National Guard troops to help with public safety. This request cited several factors, including elevated violent crime rates in urban areas. What do you mean, elevated violent crime rates in urban areas? What I mean here is that there are too many murders in the city of New Orleans, and we're too comfortable with death here. Too many children getting murdered every single week. Not only children, but recently there's been a bunch of children getting murdered while going to school, getting off school buses, on the way to school. And I believe New Orleans is on its way right now to being the murder capital of the world again. But hey, what's new here? Next factor. Governor Jeff Landry stated that there's a shortage of local law enforcement personnel. Yes, there aren't enough police officers. There isn't enough money left to pay them either, which is why the city spent the last week begging for a bond loan from the state. Now, the city is barely making payroll, and on top of that, a few greedy police officers have the audacity to fraudulently milk overtime hours, paying themselves hundreds of thousands of dollars over their base salaries, prompting a federal investigation. So yeah, the city also needs more law enforcement because, listen, they paid out them SNAP benefits this month. They paid them out just in time for the holidays, so nobody tripping. They borrowed that money, so they paid all the federal workers. But that money about to run dry, and like I said, it's about to go down. So the troops are just getting in place. Next factor, ICE immigration. The other day, I seen 30 armored vehicles. I seen a tank with some bomb-looking attachment. I started recording it, and they looked at me. Look, I got scared. I drove off. I never seen so much military force in my life. I think it was like an ICE sting mission or something like that, but I don't know. But I had to move around because, look, I know people think that this is something that's just happening on TV. This is something that's just happening over there to those people. But it's happening right over here. Yep. The National Guard is coming back to your front porch. Why do I say back? Because we all know they was already here. They was down here for Katrina. So this ain't nothing new. This time, they hacking up anything black or brown. So you better make sure that your license and registration is good because you know the city good for them roadblocks or whatever they call. I figure what you call them, the traffic stops where they just stop everybody going through the general area. So once again, it's going down. A few months ago, the National Guard pulled up to Memphis, and everybody from Memphis was online talking about Memphis is safe again. All right, everybody was making videos talking about the gangbangers were back inside because the National Guard was in town, and all the YNs is moving like they scared now. All right. Everybody got mad at this one lady from Memphis who posted a video saying that this was the first time she felt safe letting her kids play outside. Now, I love the city of New Orleans, but we got to do better, and I'm about to move around because it's going down. Everybody be mad at Trump for everything that he do, but he is committed to getting the country back in order, and I'm not messing around with this man, and neither should you. Now, the day is going to come very soon where these SNAP benefits don't hit the card. and the city will be unable to borrow money or manipulate the budget. So they will be unable to pay the police officers and the city workers. And listen, on that morning, I already understand that everybody's going to be tempted to act a fool. I know my city. I know y'all. I know us. But remember, the National Guard is already going to be stationed on a block near you, waiting for you to think it's sweet. People are going to be hungry. People are going to be hurting for money, and it's going down. Also, one more thing, very important. If you plan on being in the city of New Orleans for Bayou Classic, Southern University versus Grambling University, please be aware, be safe, and be vigilant. Because according to this report by CBS News, Bayou Classic could very well be the ICE National Guard pop-out event. Be aware. Let's check out this article. New Orleans, National Guard troops are expected to arrive in the Big Easy before the end of November. Ann Kirkpatrick, the city's police superintendent, told CBS News, adding that she had a good conversation with a National Guard major recently about the plans. Quote unquote, "We are working together and planning their deployment," Kirkpatrick told CBS News in an interview Tuesday morning. "They're not coming in to take us over. This is a partnership." While New Orleans had requested Louisiana National Guard support for upcoming New Year's Eve events, the earlier assistance from the federal National Guard troops came at the request of Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry in late September. Kirkpatrick said the troops are scheduled to arrive in time for the city's Bayou Classic event, a major, might I add, African American two-day college football event held at Caesars Superdome from November 27th to November 29th, featuring Grambling State University and Southern University. The troops are expected to remain in the city throughout New Year's Eve and Mardi Gras in February and will patrol between those events as well. I'm not sure if Mardi Gras going to be popping this year, y'all. The vibe is off already. National Guard troops were previously deployed to New Orleans at the beginning of the year following the New Year's Day terror attack that killed 14 people on Bourbon Street in the city's iconic French Quarter district. Super Bowl, I don't know what this is. I got to look it up. I got to chat GPT. I can't go out like that. Okay, we back. Super Bowl 59, that's a 59, y'all, was held in New Orleans in February, drawing heightened security. If you remove the politics out of that, our relationships were already established. I know, since Katrina, we know. We've had excellent working relationships with the National Guard, Kirkpatrick said. "My number one mission is the safety. And if the National Guard can advance and be a force multiplier, great." Recently, the federal government has sent National Guard troops to other U.S. cities, including Los Angeles, that didn't go well, Chicago, Portland, Oregon, in response to protests over the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. In New Orleans, crime is down in almost every category compared to last year, according to crime statistics provided by the New Orleans Police Department. I don't believe that. Kirkpatrick spoke to CBS News during the city annual Night Out Against Crime event. I should have been there, my bad about that, which aims to bridge divides between community members and various law enforcement agencies. The New Orleans Police Department is currently understaffed, Kirkpatrick said. A DJ at the event spoke over a loudspeaker encouraging people to consider either signing up for the police academy or as a deputy with the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office. The city still needs 300 more police officers, a New Orleans Police Department spokesperson told CBS News. Regardless, asked if she thinks Guard troops should be deployed to New Orleans outside of assisting with a major event, Kirkpatrick responded, "I don't." And here's the part that I want us all to pay very close attention to. Quote unquote, "We are peacemakers and soldiers, are trained to engage in enemy combat. Our community is not our enemy, but they are here to help support us in law enforcement functions for specific results, Kirkpatrick said. I am not confused about our different missions, but there are some things we can overlap on and indeed work collaboratively. So if you at the step show, this Bayou Classic, and somebody say ICE, they not talking A5A. Nah, they talking military grade deployment and hacking up all black and brown people in sight. They are planning to weaponize ICE and local law enforcement laws to hack up every single citizen of New Orleans, starting with anybody brown or black, of course. Okay, I can't emphasize that enough. So it's time to wake up and start getting prepared for what's coming next. The writing is on the wall, but more importantly, it's right here in front of your face in black and white on cbsnews.com. All right, I sound like Byron Cole or something. Shout out Purple, you dig? Yeah, I'm interested to know what you all think. Do you all think it's a good idea or a bad idea for a National Guard to be deployed to New Orleans, Louisiana? Do you think that their presence in the city will, in fact, help local law enforcement and reduce violent crime in urban areas? Do you think that this is all just a ploy so they can have an excuse to arrest black and brown people so they can ship them up to Angola Federal Prison because the state of Louisiana is falling short on their occupancy requirements that they have made per contract with Angola Federal Prison? Makes you wonder. If you enjoyed this conversation, please don't hesitate to visit www.cancelby.com and tap in with me there for more exclusive content. And as always, listen, like, subscribe, and tune in again to another episode of Cancel BY.